Open your banking app right now. Look at your transactions from the past week. 7 days of spending. Go ahead. I'll wait. Now ask yourself this question. How many of those purchases were intentional? How many were aligned with what actually matters to you? How many brought real value to your life? And how many were just autopilot? Mindless spending. Money flowing out without conscious choice. If you're honest, probably more than half were autopilot purchases. A coffee here. A subscription charge there. A random Amazon order. Takeout when you had food at home. Things that seemed small in the moment but add up to hundreds of dollars every month. Today we're talking about financial minimalism. Not about being cheap. Not about deprivation. About spending with intention. About making sure every dollar you spend reflects what you actually value. This is the final practical piece of minimalism. You've cleared your space. You've simplified your schedule. You've decluttered your relationships and your mind. Now it's time to align your money with your values. Let me start with a hard truth. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They earn it. They spend it. And at the end of the month they wonder why nothing's left. They know their income. But they don't know their spending. Not really. They have a vague sense that groceries are expensive and rent is high. But the details are fuzzy. This lack of awareness creates financial clutter. Money leaking out in dozens of small purchases. Subscriptions you forgot about. Habits you never questioned. Spending that doesn't align with what you say matters. Financial minimalism starts with awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. Let me tell you about Elena. She's 29. Works as a teacher. Makes decent money. Not rich, but comfortable. And Elena was always confused about her finances. She made good money. She didn't buy expensive things. She wasn't irresponsible. But every month, she barely broke even. Sometimes she went into her overdraft. She had no emergency savings. She felt constantly stressed about money. Elena decided to track every single purchase for 1 month. Every coffee. Every app charge. Every impulse buy. Everything. At the end of the month, Elena was shocked. She'd spent $300 on food delivery. $200 on clothes she barely wore. $150 on subscriptions she'd forgotten about. $70 on coffee. $50 on apps and in-app purchases. That was almost $900 on things that added zero value to her life. $900. Every month. But here's what really hit her. Elena had been saying for 2 years that she wanted to visit her grandmother in Peru. 2 years of wanting to go but not having the money. $900 a month would have paid for that trip in 3 months. In 1 year, it would have been 4 trips. Elena wasn't unable to afford what mattered. She was spending money on things that didn't matter. And that realization changed everything. This is what financial minimalism reveals. Your spending shows your actual priorities. Not your stated priorities. Your actual ones. You might say family is most important. But if you spend more on random purchases than on experiences with family, what does that reveal? You might say you want financial security. But if you spend everything you make, what does that reveal? You might say you value experiences over things. But if your bank statement shows mostly purchases of stuff, what does that reveal? Financial minimalism asks you to close the gap between what you say matters and where your money actually goes. So let's talk about how to do this. The first step is the spending audit. Just like Elena did. For 1 full month, track everything. Not approximately. Exactly. Every dollar. You can use an app. You can use a spreadsheet. You can use a notebook. The tool doesn't matter. The awareness does. At the end of the month, categorize everything. Food. Housing. Transportation. Entertainment. Clothing. Subscriptions. Random purchases. Put each expense in a category. Now look at the total for each category. And ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1. Does this spending align with my values? If you value health but spend nothing on quality food or exercise, something's misaligned. If you value learning but spend nothing on books or courses while spending hundreds on entertainment, something's misaligned. Question 2. Which purchases actually added value? Go through each item. Did it bring lasting satisfaction? Or was it momentary pleasure that faded quickly? Question 3. What would I change? If you could redesign this month's spending from scratch, what would you keep? What would you eliminate? These questions reveal the gap. The difference between intentional spending and autopilot spending. Step 2 is identifying your money leaks. These are regular expenses that add no value but happen automatically. You don't even think about them anymore. Common money leaks include subscriptions you don't use. Monthly charges for services you forgot about. Premium versions of apps when free would work fine. Convenience spending that's become habit. Elena found 7 subscriptions she wasn't using. A streaming service she'd watched once 6 months ago. A meal kit delivery she'd cancelled but forgot to actually cancel. A gym membership she hadn't used in a year. 2 magazine subscriptions. A premium music app when she mostly used the free version. A cloud storage plan she didn't need. Total cost. $95 every month. Over $1,000 a year. For nothing. Go through your subscriptions right now. Ask yourself. Do I actively use this? Does it add real value? Would I pay for this again today if I had the choice? If the answer to any of those is no, cancel it. Today. Not next month. Today. Step 3 is understanding needs versus wants versus values. This is where most people get confused. A need is something essential for survival and basic functioning. Food. Shelter. Healthcare. Transportation to work. These are non-negotiable. A want is something that enhances life but isn't essential. New clothes when your old ones are fine. Eating out. Entertainment. Travel. These are nice but optional. But here's where it gets interesting. Values-based spending. This is spending that aligns with what matters most to you, even if it's technically a want. For example, you value connection with friends. Spending money to visit a friend who lives far away is values-based spending. Even though it's technically a want, it's actually essential to your well-being and priorities. Or you value learning. Buying books or taking courses is values-based spending. It's not a need. But it's aligned with who you want to be. Financial minimalism says cut ruthlessly on wants that don't align with values. But invest generously in values-based spending. Elena valued travel, learning, and time with family. Once she identified those values, she could evaluate every purchase. Does this support travel, learning, or family time? If yes, worth considering. If no, probably eliminate. This is not about spending less on everything. It's about spending more on what matters and less on what doesn't. Step 4 is the 30-day rule. This is probably the most powerful tool for stopping impulse purchases. Here's how it works. When you want to buy something unplanned, you wait 30 days. You don't say no. You just say not yet. Write down the item. The price. Where you can buy it. And the date you saw it. Put it in a list on your phone or in a notebook. Then wait. For 30 days, that purchase is on hold. After 30 days, go back to the list. Do you still want it? Many times, the answer is no. The desire has passed. You've moved on. You've forgotten about it. If you do still want it, ask these questions. Can I afford this without going into debt? Does this align with my values? Is there a cheaper alternative? Is this the best use of this money right now? If the answer to all of those is yes, buy it. Guilt-free. You've thought about it. You've waited. You've confirmed it matters. That's intentional spending. The 30-day rule works because most purchases are emotional. We see something. We feel a rush of desire. We buy it to capture that feeling. But that feeling fades. Usually within a few days. By waiting 30 days, you separate the emotional impulse from the actual decision. Studies show that most impulse purchases are regretted within a week. The 30-day rule prevents that regret. It lets you make decisions with your logical brain, not your emotional one. Elena started using the 30-day rule for anything over $25. In the first 3 months, she added 42 items to her list. After 30 days, she bought 7 of them. 7 out of 42. She saved over $2,000 by simply waiting. $2,000 that would have been spent on things she didn't actually want. Step 5 is understanding the true cost of purchases. Money isn't just money. It's time. It's freedom. It's options. When you buy something, you're not just spending dollars. You're spending the hours of your life you traded for those dollars. So ask yourself. How many hours did I work to earn this? Is this purchase worth that many hours of my life? If you make $15 an hour and something costs $60, that's 4 hours of work. Is that item worth 4 hours of your life? Sometimes yes. Often no. This perspective changes everything. Suddenly that $50 shirt doesn't seem like $50. It seems like 3 hours of your life. Is it worth 3 hours? Financial minimalism also means understanding opportunity cost. Every dollar spent on one thing is a dollar not spent on something else. That $900 Elena spent on autopilot purchases wasn't just $900. It was a trip to see her grandmother. Or 3 months of emergency savings. Or 10 courses to improve her teaching skills. The cost wasn't the money. It was everything else that money could have done. Step 6 is automating what matters. Financial minimalism isn't about thinking about money constantly. It's about setting up systems so you don't have to. Pay yourself first. This is old advice, but it's true. Before you spend anything, move money to savings. Even if it's just $50. Even if it's just $20. Automate it. Set up automatic transfers on payday. The money moves before you can spend it. Before you even see it. Elena set up 3 automatic transfers. $50 to emergency savings. $30 to travel fund. $20 to learning fund. That's $100 every month that goes to what matters before she can spend it on what doesn't. After 1 year, Elena had $600 in emergency savings. $360 in her travel fund. $240 for courses and books. Not life-changing amounts. But more than she'd saved in the previous 5 years combined. Step 7 is the buy less, buy better principle. When you do buy things, invest in quality. Not luxury. Quality. A well-made jacket that lasts 5 years is cheaper than 5 cheap jackets that last 1 year each. Quality saves money long-term. This applies to everything. Tools. Furniture. Clothes. Electronics. Buy less. But what you buy, make it good. This also reduces clutter. Quality items bring lasting satisfaction. Cheap items bring temporary pleasure followed by regret and replacement. Now let's address the fear. The fear that financial minimalism means never enjoying life. Never treating yourself. Never having fun. That's not true. Financial minimalism means enjoying life more. Because you're spending on what actually brings joy, not on autopilot habits. Elena still gets coffee. But now it's intentional. Once or twice a week as a treat. Not daily out of habit. She enjoys it more. And saves $200 a month. She still buys clothes. But now she buys pieces she loves that fit her life. Not random items because they're on sale. She has a smaller wardrobe. And she wears everything. She still orders food delivery. But now it's for special occasions or when she's genuinely too tired to cook. Not 3 times a week out of laziness. She enjoys it more. And saves $250 a month. Same pleasures. More intention. Less waste. Here's what happened to Elena. After 1 year of financial minimalism, her life looked completely different. She had $1,000 in emergency savings. Enough to handle most unexpected expenses without panic. She'd visited her grandmother in Peru. The trip she'd wanted for 2 years. And it was better than she imagined. Worth every dollar. She'd taken 3 online courses to improve her teaching. Invested in what she valued. She'd stopped feeling stressed about money. Not because she earned more. Because she spent with intention. And here's the most surprising part. Elena felt like she had more. Even though she was spending less. Because what she spent aligned with what mattered. So here's your challenge. Start with the spending audit. Track everything for 30 days. No judgment. Just awareness. At the end of 30 days, identify your money leaks. Cancel subscriptions you don't use. Stop habits that don't serve you. Then identify your top 3 values. What actually matters most to you? Health, family, learning, creativity, adventure, security. Look at your spending. How much currently goes to those values? How much goes to everything else? Start shifting. Slowly. Cut 5% from non-value spending. Redirect it to values-based spending or savings. Implement the 30-day rule. For any unplanned purchase, wait. Write it down. Come back in 30 days. Watch what happens. Notice how it feels to spend with intention instead of on autopilot. Notice how your satisfaction increases even as spending decreases. Financial minimalism isn't about having less money. It's about money serving your life instead of controlling it. It's about every dollar being a conscious choice that reflects what you value. Your money is your life energy. The hours you trade for dollars. Make sure those dollars are building the life you actually want. In our next video, we'll bring everything together. We'll look at what minimalism looks like long-term. How to maintain it. How to handle challenges. How to make it sustainable. But that's for next time. For now, track your spending. See where your money actually goes. And ask yourself, is this the life I want to be buying? Because every purchase is a vote. A vote for the life you're creating. Make sure you're voting for the right one. Thank you for listening. See you next time. I hope this video brought you something meaningful. If you find it helpful, please like and share it with someone who may need it. Subscribe if you would like to hear more stories like this. Wishing you a calm and peaceful day.